Hey, it's George from One Jiu Jitsu. So today I've got a special guest. We're speaking with Jon Hand, who's a black belt and owner of Horizon BJJ in Stoke-on-Trent. One of the things actually I'm interested in, especially, is that you are one of the few gyms that have kind of really embraced some of the more modern training styles and training techniques. So it'd be interesting to talk about that as well.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
but yeah, welcome. Thanks for taking the time to do the call.
No, no worries at all. Thanks for inviting me on.
So yeah, before we do like a tour and have a little look at your gym and the facilities, it'd be cool to learn a little bit about you, kind of what made you want to start jiu-jitsu in the first place, and then how did that lead to you getting your black belt and starting your own academy?
Okay. So I've always been interested in martial arts from a really young age. I grew up with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and He-Man and Thundercats and all those sort of things in the late 80s, early 90s. So I was always jumping about, Power Rangers, all that sort of thing. Um, but it wasn't until I was about 14, 15, I actually got mugged twice while walking home from school. One was a bit more of a physical conflict, and the other one was a little bit more of a mental thing, like surrounded by people. And it kind of scarred me quite deeply,
Mm,
quite psychologically for a long time. And it it just got to the point where I needed to do something, so I didn't have to walk around
mm,
looking behind me every time I walked down the street. So I started investigating lots of different martial arts, and I was really interested in Bruce Lee and found Jeet Kune Do Club, which was actually quite close to me. It took me 2 years to pluck up the courage to walk through the door because I just thought everybody had looked like Jean-Claude Van Damme from the movies, and
hmm
what's this
Yeah,
this 18-year-old lad doing walking in the school when I'm not going to be able to be like that. But
yeah,
obviously, all those illusions and things that are in your head before you walk through the door and what the actual reality of it is a massively different thing. And this is what I tell new prospective students all the time, that it's just
mm,
smoke and mirrors made up in your own head. It
yeah,
We got there, and it's just normal people like you and me,
yeah, yeah.
just learning fantastic art. And I started there in 2002. So I've been doing this for 21 years now. Um, and the second I walked through that door, it had a really big impact on me because now I make my living out of this. So
Mm,
yeah, for sure, it absolutely changed my life.
yeah. And have you found what have you found like are motivations for like parents who maybe they don't train themselves, but they might want to put their kids into martial arts?
Obviously, when kids move into school or even high school, and the group dynamic changes,
Mm,
um, there's a lot of obviously changes that go uh, what the child goes through psychologically as well, meeting new groups, fitting in with new groups, trying not to be the target of potential bullies, or
mm,
if you're not, you're maybe a slightly geekier kid,
mm,
and you're not going to fit in with the cool kids,
mm,
then that might be a potential issue for those parents because they don't want their kid to be bullied.
mm,
So we get a lot of kids through the door, and we get kids. I think it happened a lot more. It's not as much now, but they'd walk through the door, and you could obviously see they were really
mm.
introverted. They had
Yeah.
tears in their eyes because they weren't sure of what was going to happen. Their
Mm,
parents
mm,
had just brought them to a fighting gym or
mm.
something like that. But by the end of that first class, they're all happy. They're all smiling, and
Yeah.
and you got to encourage the kids and go, look, you can do this. Look at what you've just achieved. Like just
Yeah.
walking through that door and the way that you've just changed.
Mm,
I think that's absolutely massive for the kids.
yeah.
Um,
So let's imagine that I'm a new student. I've never trained jiu-jitsu before, but I decide like I'm ready to get started, give it a try, and I kind of reach out to you.
mhm.
How would the process go from there?
Okay, so you could contact us by our website. by Instagram or by Facebook. I'm quite responsive on all three of those. You basically just basically pop me a message and I'll answer it as soon as I possibly can. I'll ask you which class is it that you're interested in, and for who it's in case of parents who it is for, and then I would give you all the information that you would need to before you come in. If there's any specific questions that you have to ask, then by all means you can do that, and I'll have a conversation with you about that. The main thing is that you get over to the class, you find out if it's for you and it's the vibe that you like, and then after that we can just go from there.
Nice. And let's say I've shown up for my first class. Could you give us a bit of a tour of like the gym and how a first class might run?
Yeah, sure. So I'll just apologies, I'll pick the camera up.
Yeah.
So as we go across the room, you will come through. Make sure my head's not in the way. You'll just come through the front door. We have the toilet just to the other side, and then as you come through into the main room, you will see the shop, which needs a little bit of a sort out at the moment, which sells. We do like branded T-shirts and things like that, in case anybody's interested. In the summer, the shutters up. It's absolutely fantastic. In the winter, we have the heater just down there, so there's never a time where it'll be very, very uncomfortable. To the side of me just here is the changing room. We have like privacy booth curtains and things like that, and you can store all your bits and pieces in there. Usually as we come in, I ask you guys to just sign in into the book so I know who's been in during that class. I'll introduce you to the place. I'll just let you know that one rule really is the bare feet mat policy, which will happen at pretty much every single jiu-jitsu school, just for hygiene reasons. And then once you're ready, you'll take a step onto the matted area, which is probably about 7 meters by about 9 meters. You can see the toy box just back there. I do another class on Friday that integrates a lot of stuff into there, and spare keys if the guys need to lend them for a specific class. But yeah, when we get onto the mat, then we can show you guys a couple of warm-ups. You'll jump in with a partner again. I would usually, if somebody's brand new and somebody's maybe overly timid, I would put you guys in with a more experienced partner who's really going to help you through things and not going to rough you up too much. Because again, especially for the warm-ups, the idea is to warm you up. It's not a fight for your life. So yeah, once we get there, I will take you over as well. You can see the whiteboards just there. I do a lot of lesson planning on whiteboards. So you'll, when we get onto the learning method, I'll explain that a little bit more. We also, for the kids, we have a projector screen. Sometimes I will show them videos, especially to the high school kids for sure. I'll show them videos that I've found on to sort of get them thinking a little bit more psychologically as well. Maybe things about self-image, bullying from both perspectives. We've had some nice little short 5-minute videos on a girl who was a bully and how she changed her ways and realizing how she made people feel to hopefully stop kids under my care from going down that path, and kids who were bullied and how they felt. And then we might have a discussion. I might do some board work with the kids just to get them thinking a little bit more about things like that. So it's not just about coming in and beating people up and learning how to beat people up. It's a lot more than that. There's more skills that I feel that this art gives that you will use 99% of the time. And then the physical capabilities is that extra little bonus as well to this. So Yeah, I'm very happy with things how the kids programs going, especially, and it gives me that time where I study about child psychology as well, because obviously I need to be able to notice when a kid needs that extra little bit of maybe when that kid needs a little bit of extra focus, maybe they're not feeling it that day, maybe they're a little bit upset about something that's happened outside, and I need to sort of change their mentality a little bit in that kind of way. So yeah, it's helping me grow as a person as well from studying with the kids, for sure.
Nice. And you touched on there a bit about your kind of training methodology, or how you kind of run the sessions. Could you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So for the longest time, I learned under a certain method where you would be taught a technique. You would perform a number of checkpoints against a compliant partner, and then you would repeat it over and over again until you became semi-competent at it. After that, you would get a stage, a set number of sparring rounds, maybe, where you would maybe try and pull that off in real time against an opponent, a live opponent. The newer method allows the student to adapt to the live environment right off the bat. What I'll do is I'll set constrain a game with player 1 and player 2 and the objectives that they've ultimately got to get to. I'll give them a free open time to play with that environment first, so they get a couple of questions in their head. They run into problems, and now they have questions. And then what I will do is I will add certain focus points, like little tips, almost on a video game. I will add little focus points for them to concentrate on, and then I would set them to go again. So the method is a constraint-led approach. And I've noticed in the last 4 months of doing this with the guys who've been spending the time with me in this, the leaps they have made in their ability to adapt to the situation. I've never seen anything like this. So I'm pretty invested in this, and it's a very deep rabbit hole for myself as a coach to go down. It's a lot of this truly is the sports science of coaching. So and there's a small team of very competent athletes who are doing very well on the no-gi, the submission grappling side over in the States, and I'm following a lot of what they do, and yeah, it's been fantastic. I've really learned a lot. I'm truly learning what it is to be a coach now.
Yeah, that's really exciting, man, to see that how much you've embraced that. And it's something that I would definitely like to try, kind of that style of learning. But, it's something where I feel like it's definitely kind of gaining momentum in the jiu-jitsu community. It's still pretty underground, but I can definitely see it becoming, because it just seems more effective. I can see it becoming like a widespread thing eventually. But at the moment, it's still far and few between, like the gyms who are kind of, taking that risk to go away from how things have always traditionally been taught, probably how they were taught by their coaches in the first place. So yeah, it's really cool to see that you're going for that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like, obviously my role as a coach is to provide the best possible method of making the guys who come here as good as they can possibly be. We don't just concentrate on competition, obviously. This is just about you becoming better and more capable as a human in every conceivable way. And I truly feel like this is something that well, as you said, will hopefully become more of a thing. I think it will make things way more interesting.
Yeah.
When more people adopt this method.
And yeah, I mean, just to finish off, are there any, like, if you had someone was, they've watched through this whole thing and they're thinking about getting started, what would you say to them?
So I would definitely say, don't delay. This is the best time to start. This is the youngest you're ever going to be, regardless of whether you're 17 years old or you're 45 years old. If Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has piqued your interest, I guarantee you will enjoy the classes at Horizon. Again, it took me 2 years to pluck up the courage to walk through the door because of all of those illusions that I had built up into my head. And I can guarantee you it is not like you think it is. The whole ethos of the gym is to bring everybody up together, to make everybody as good as you could make them. So they help you to get better yourself. And there's the only thing that I hear is they regret that they didn't start this earlier. That's the only thing I hear usually. So don't delay.
Yeah.
Do it. You won't regret it, I promise.
Yeah, I mean, I can second that. I haven't had the chance to train with Jon, but I've been training jiu-jitsu for quite a few years now, and I'm so grateful for having it as part of my life. So, I mean, I would second that, obviously.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thanks for speaking with me, Jon. And is there any other bits that you feel we missed or things you wanted to mention?
No, I think that covers everything. Everything for the idea of contacting us, and then just like I said, just turn up to the gym whenever you can make it. We'll sort it out. We'll arrange a time where you can come in, and yeah, it'd be fantastic to meet you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jon. Cheers.
Thank you.